Performance versus styling. Some people won't admit it, but really, styling has a huge factor in why we buy anything. The style of the bike tells everyone who we are, our lifestyle, and our tribe. And as such, style therefore plays a good role on the sales performance of a product. Next on Makina Moto Features, we have a Scoot oozing with character and charisma.
Counting all different ideas drifting away. Past and present, they don't matter, not if you just sort it out. Watching, moving, an elliptical pattern. Think it's not what you say is way too complicated.
First and foremost, let's pronounce the brand right. And since we are professionals here in Makina, we are thorough, we sought out an expert to help us. Here, folks, is the #1 French moto vlogger in the Philippines. Meet Loic of I Ride Manila.
Bonjour. In France, we pronounce it Peugeot.
So there, it's not Peugeot, it's not Peugeot, it's not Peugeot de Trois or Peugeot. Okay? It's Peugeot.
Peugeot.
Thank you, Loic. Also, if you are in France and you have a camote in front of you, you can say,
Eh, suceur de bite, dégage de là.
So as such, styling is subjective. What is badoué for one is cool for another. And I think about this with amusement as I realize we humans worry about such things while we are on a rock going around the sun in what is essentially the nothingness of space. Why do we worry about such things like style, right? What's the point? I don't know. But me personally, I do fuss about it. I think it has something to do with trying to procreate. You know, you're trying to look good to get a partner so you can produce more babies or something like that. Anyway, why Django? If I were to connect the dots, well, we have a jazz guitarist named Jean Django Reinhardt, also a fellow oozing with harmonic style, who also happens to be French. I mean, that's what came to my head when I heard about Django. And now with what I've read online, it does seem that he may have some inspiration considering how the Scoot looks. This Scoot was actually launched in France back in 2014 and made itself into the European market in 2017. I started seeing this in EICMA the years after and I'm like, I wonder when that will come out in Asia. So yeah, a few months ago, Motostrada launched it here in our country. So what are the roots of the Peugeot Django? We can go back as far as 1954 to their S55 scooter and 1937 for their 402 Darl Matte automobile. Now between the two eras, I think the 50s would still be the stronger flavor for the Django. The Django has 3 variants, the Evasion, the Allure, and the Sport. But in our country, we only have one variant, but with different color schemes. For me, the two-tone is the one that I would most likely buy. Two-tone is priced at $216,000, Sport Stripe is priced at $205,800, and the Mono is priced at $199,000. My little opinion on the matter, since we're already talking about classic hues to begin with, just go for the two-tone variant. And if you had to resell it in the future, then I feel the two-tone would sell faster. Done.
So sentimental, not sentimental, no romantic, not disgusting, yeah. Not really, not down and lonely. It's the fortune only. I'm looking for something else.
The Django is made in Peugeot's manufacturing facility in Vietnam. At 150 cc's, it's got the usual attributes found in modern-day automatics. It's air-cooled, fuel-injected. What it has that some other scoots don't have in this category is ABS, so well done there, Peugeot. We'll have that at the front while the rear will have disc brakes. It's got twin valves and a single overhead cam dishing out 10 horsepower at 7.25 kilowatts with 9.2 Nm of torque.
From the mass to the masses, Mr. Mayor, that's the sequel. That's right. Not easily offended, hard to let it go. From the mass to the masses, follow me, sky stand still. This coast is cold place on your favorite weekend.
There you have it, the latest from Peugeot.
Peugeot.
French. François Merci beaucoup. Take a look at the details. First thing I'm gonna appreciate here is the seat. Look at that seat. That's a seat that you will not change anymore. Or at the very least, you're gonna wait for it to just get really tattered before you change it. Napakaganda ng upuan na to. And as you can see the lines, it goes whoop and then whoop whoop, drooping down on the crotch area. Very, very nice lines. Another thing that I would commend here, I'm gonna go straight to the point in terms of the mirror and the stem. This is very beefy, very nice, robust mirror. Di ko na to papalitan. Although, papalitan ko yung kulay niya because I'm not a big fan of shiny chrome. I've been saying that in videos. In fact, if I were to just play around with this Scoot even more, based on what I see, I'm gonna get rid of all the shiny parts and turn it into black. I'll turn this black. Itong silver highlight, I'd probably turn that black. I'm gonna turn the grab bar here black. This shiny line over here is gonna go. I'm gonna turn that black too. That's gonna be black. That's gonna be black. And I think that's gonna be a really killer bike if it's gonna be like that. Not to say it's a bad thing, it's a preference thing. The whole chromey thing is that sa akin daw mahilig sa chrome. So in terms of paint job, nice and creamy and thick. I would also commend the gauge. This is not a plastic cover that is just here covering the panel. Tapos mahawakan mo na or masasalat mo na to lahat. No, it's a plastic cover that's covering everything. And it has a nice modern touch to it despite the classic looks. So in terms of the seat, I thought this whole thing goes up. So as I was opening it with a key here, ayaw niya mabuksan. Yung pala dito siya bumubuka. There. That's the space you get. Of course, we're gonna do our mandatory chinelas check. Size 11. Side view with your chinelas. And in terms of helmets, this spider helmet right now. I'll try this helmet. Nope, full face helmet will not fit here. No, but I have a half face. So in terms of a half face helmet na may dugtong, this is really a half face helmet. Meron siyang provision dito sa gilid para madugtongan mo, para mukha siyang full face, but that's really a half face helmet. This would fit fine. This compartment can fit a half face easily and then some. Paperwork, sandwich, baon, maybe maliit na thermos. That's what can fit there. So in terms now of the gas tank, where is it? The gas tank is actually located below. So the key goes here, twisted towards this side to open this one, and we will find our gas cap, and that's where you're gonna gas up. So it goes down. The advantage is you're gonna have a lot of weight at the bottom of your Scoot, which is very good for handling. Diba, hindi top heavy yung Scoot mo. However, some people naman na kinakabahan sila, sinasabi nila na, oh Zach, di mo malulusob sa bahayan. Ang sa akin naman, ba't nyo kasi nilulusob yung mga motor nyo sa baha? Kung baha na nga, then just stay put. Just find some shelter somewhere and just chill. Wait for the floods to subside. Unang-una kasi delikado, di ba? And then, di mo alam kung anong sakit pa makukuha mo dyan. It's a hassle, you know? If it's flooded, huwag nyo na ilaban. Chill na lang kayo, di ba? On the other side naman, we have a compartment. There. So, what can fit in this compartment? As you can see, it's not that big. This is gonna be your charging port. So, I have a huge case, aluminum robust case. Nag-eksakto na siya, it won't close. Pero pag walang case, kung phone lang, kakasya naman siya. Diba? It's got a holder specific for the phone. Look at that, diba? So, there's not much that you can fit here. Saba check. You can put one saba over there and one saba over here. Actually, that's it. I was trying to squeeze in another one, but ang tatlong saba ay hindi na magsasara. Even if I squeeze it, you're just gonna squeeze the banana. So, dalawa lang talagang kasya. 2 sabas for this compartment. Now, in terms of saba in the U-box, you can put in a whole chunk. So this is 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I suspect I can fit 3 bundles of that, like 1, 2, 3. So that would be 16 times 3, 48 bananas. Sabihin natin, if you really cram it, I think about 60 sabas can fit in there. Okay, let's fire her up. Now, in idle, you will see how much it vibrates. If you take a look at my sleeve here, there, you can see how much this vibrates in idle. But if you rev it, it's gonna smoothen out. There. When you stop, There, it's vibrating. Vibrates quite a lot actually, but only in idle. All right, let's take a listen. It has a very meaty, bassy tone to it. So everything here is LED. These are our brakes for the rear and our signal light at the rear. And as you can see here with the beeping sound, I appreciate that we have this beeping sound when your signal light is on, para pag liko mo at nakalimutan mong patayin yung signal light mo, meron kang reminder na kailangan mo siyang patayin, because it's very dangerous if the vehicle behind you thinks you're turning when you're not, diba? Dire-diretso ka lang para alanganin para dun sa sasakyan sa likod mo. So nakakatuwa na meron ganyang reminder. Here are lights. Brights, not bright, passing, passing, passing. Okay, that's your low beam, high beam. Low beam, high beam. LED all the way, front, back. We got some LED highlights over here as well, and I think that's also great. Busina natin, let's take a listen. It's a low meep, 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 meep. It's not meep, meep, it's meep, meep. Meep, 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 meep. Baritone meep. 4-hour tires. What did they slap on here? Maxxis tires. Not bad. Kapit din ng Maxxis. Yeah, we got ABS here. You'll see in my brake tests later on na hindi ko mapagana yung ABS, in the sense that it takes a lot for the ABS to kick in. But it's there, you know, may ABS siya. This is a very nice crest chest. Meron tayong ridges dito. You got the Peugeot logo. Very, very nice. Very classic looking. It's Peugeot, right? Unmistakable. The Django. Now, if there's anything here that I feel would be a bit out of place, I think it would be this one. I know it's a safety feature, but if you're looking at the whole bike in its context of it being classy, it being retro, I mean, for safety's sake, sure, let's put something there. But I would appreciate it if it would have a more retro design, like a retro reflector, right? I think this is a bit more modern. So I would change that. I wouldn't necessarily take it out, but I would probably change that. Right now, let's appreciate this key. Isn't that nice? I like it when manufacturers give attention to detail and they give some time to design their key. It's not cheap. It's not like, let's just make a key and get it over with. No, they put some thought into this. Ridges over here, your emblem over there. Very nice key, very nice key. Although it would be nice if this could fold in, I think, right? But yeah, it's a pretty nice key.
Riding around town, we were rolling on 12-inch wheels with teleforks at the front and monoshocks at the rear. No adjustment option for the front, but the rear suspension you can fiddle around with depending on your load, like if you'll have a passenger or if you'll carry heavy stuff with your box. It's got a 30-inch seat height, so this is nice and low and it's perfect for a majority of Asians. Seat cushioning complements the suspension and it's pretty good in the ass, and of course, I say that in a non-sexual way.
Brake test for the Django, for the Peugeot. So we're gonna start off on the left lever, or the rear. Let's take a look at the action of the brakes. So off the bat, off the shelf, it's already tuned. There's no play, which means the brakes, at least when I got it from the casa, it is already tuned well. All right, let's try the left first. Going about 40 kilometers per hour. This is gonna be our comfort zone for the brakes for the rear. So it is skidding, it's biting hard, very responsive, but it is going to skid. So this takes a little bit of getting used to. Uy, may nagbabike. May umaatras. Can I hit the brakes without skidding, at least for the rear brakes, from 40? You can. So ang technique lang naman dyan, when you're studying the rear brakes of your bike, get the immediate grip. You're gonna sense naman kung kailan na siya magsiskid eh. And then you're gonna press it now, not as hard. There. Front brakes this time. Front brakes. We're gonna go just 30 kilometers an hour, taking it easy. I'm hearing a groan as the brakes are starting to bite. Go a bit faster.
Alright, riding hard. The front is not skidding, which is good, and I'm already slamming it really hard, coming from 40 kilometers an hour. Let me just try to push it even more. I would say the front brakes, I could rely on it. It's gonna stop, not as urgent. So I guess that's a good thing because you're not gonna lose your front end. However, like with practically every bike that comes through Makina, using both brakes, that's what you really gotta do. Now, the magic of the Peugeot is when you really use both brakes. And I can even safely say that using both brakes with the Peugeot can outperform other brakes in its class. Let's go for both brakes right now. We're at 40 kilometers an hour, slam it. Yeah, very good. And when you're slamming both brakes equally, left and right levers, I'm not losing the rear. Uy, may nagugupit. Gandang hapon po. Wow, you know the Peugeot brakes, basta both, safely say this can outperform a lot in its category. For the Peugeot, more or less equal grip, you're stopping fine. The rear is just almost gonna skid, but it's not skidding. Very good. So, oops, minute good jogging. So there, the French got it right with the brakes, with the Django Peugeot. Merci beaucoup. Merci. Vous que voulez.
I've heard some people say that if Vespa and Lambretta had an affair and had a love child, it would look like the Django. I completely disagree. What I do see is a hint of Lambretta inspiration because of the side profile, but apart from that, what I see is Peugeot through and through. The world is constantly changing. We are constantly changing. It's good to see designs from before we were born come to life and rolling on our streets. One may think that retro-looking scoots should also behave like the era they are trying to relive. I say mixing up good stuff with the old is always a good thing. Although let vintage be vintage, and let the new be new, regardless of lines. I think the Django would benefit some add-ons here and there, like perhaps an app integration with our phone so we can load it up with tech amenities without having to stuff it all in the gauge to retain its classic looks. You know, to keep an eye on the bike performance with metrics. Also, more original accessories, please, like different color handle grips, racks, mirrors, wheels, windscreens, and maybe upgrades to the engine, like a bore up to 200cc, right? That stuff. I think Django customers will enjoy that. The Peugeot Django. Very cool scoot. Bienvenue, Philippines. This is Zach saying, Au revoir.
So sentimental, not sentimental, no, romantic, not disgusting, yeah. Not hurting, not down and lonely. It's misfortune.